Alrighty, guys. So yeah, my name's Emma. I've been in the high ticket space for about a year and a half now, and first year in high ticket sales, collected over 7 figures of cash, sold on both B2B and B2C offers for some of the biggest names in the space, including one of Alex Hormozi's portfolio companies, selling tickets from 3K all the way up to 40K. Avatars that are making $30 million a year to people that are in their 9 to 5s wanting to get financial freedom. Who am I sitting here with today?
Yeah, my name is Justin Fan. I've been in high ticket sales for the past 2.5 years, and I've cash collected over $4 million. I've been the top closer for nearly every offer I've sold for. That's all I gotta say. Everything else is on Instagram, all my credentials, my clips, everything's on there. So that's it.
Fire. Okay. What got you into high ticket sales in the beginning?
What got me into high ticket was the idea of being able to impact and change people's lives, right? So, because prior to high ticket, I was doing e-commerce, right? And so
You're doing e-com?
Yeah.
No.
I was drop shipping.
Really?
I was doing drop shipping, yeah.
Oh, you hopped on that trend.
Yeah. I was doing drop shipping, right? And so in order for me to get into it, I had to invest into a mentor, right?
Yeah.
I found this mentor online. And guess what? Had to hop on a sales call for me to join the mentorship. And at the time, I didn't even know what high ticket sales was. I didn't know what the closer was doing to me. And I thought it was so cool, right? But when I was on the call, I didn't know he was doing these things to me. And so he obviously closed me. I piffed them, right? No objections. And so that's how I joined my first ever mentorship. And then it was good. I made my first 5 figures in a single month with that.
Really?
Yeah.
That's pretty dope. So then why not just double down on that?
Yeah, because there was no passion for it, right? In a way, I felt like I was scamming people.
Really?
I was just going on Alibaba, finding these cheap products.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Yeah, and then reselling them. I didn't feel too good about it. There was no purpose for me behind it. And so I started looking for other avenues, and that's when I found high ticket sales. And I was like, oh, so that's what that guy did to me. He closed me. And so, the idea of being able to impact people and help them overcome their fears and limitations, that's what I found so cool about it. And so I went back into that closer. I texted him on his number. I was like, yo, you got a mentorship? And he closed me into not his own mentorship, but
so he closed you twice.
Yeah, he closed me twice.
Comms.
Yeah, he closed me twice. He closed me into a mentorship that taught him.
Yeah.
I joined that mentorship, and then ever since then, smooth sailing from there.
Smooth sailing. So hot shot overnight, or what did that actually look like?
Yeah, it was definitely a rough journey. I'd say my first year was definitely a lot of ups and downs, right? But I'm grateful I went through that because it allowed me to go through a lot of trial and error and adversity. And so my first ever offer, I was doing a lot of outbound.
You were doing outbound dials
and closing people on the first call.
Were you doing full cycle?
No, I wasn't booking people onto the calendar and closing them on the meeting, but it's I called them and I closed them on the first call.
Yeah.
For 500 packages. And so that's how I got really good at my tonality. And
yeah, I was selling on full cycle for a while. So I was doing anywhere from 200 to 400 outbound dials a day. Then I was taking all the triage calls from that. Then I was taking all the closing calls as well.
Damn.
I know, that was one of the
high ticket in the first place, though?
That's a great question. So I kind of bounced around entrepreneurship, trying different things. So I tried the whole drop shipping thing, invested in mentorship, stuck with that for about 6 months, but definitely did not see my first 5-figure month from that.
Okay.
And then I decided to pivot, and that's when I got into social media marketing. So I did social media marketing for about 2 years. I was doing organic for online coaches. And so I would generate the leads for them, and then they'd take their own sales calls. And that's when I had a friend of mine who was like, oh, you would be really good at this. You should look into this. And at this point, I was just getting fairly burnt out from what I was doing. I was working a lot for the money I was charging. And I was just like, wait, you're telling me that I just have to sell it and I don't have to fulfill or deal with anything afterwards? Okay. And so that's kind of what got me to look into that further. And then and talk about a rocky journey, because literally the first ever coach I invested in scammed me out of 10K.
Oh, who was that?
Welcome to high ticket sales. They're literally off the face of the earth now. You would not be able to find them anywhere. But very few people actually know, but because I have a horse, right? And I've always been very passionate about horseback riding.
I remember that.
But it was very hard because horseback riding, it's not a professionally paid sport, so it's self-funded.
Yeah.
And it's one of the most expensive sports in the world. So I sold my horse and I took that money to invest in my skill set because I was like, if all I need is to learn how to make more money, I'm going to learn how to make more money.
Yeah.
And so I sold my horse, which was a very hard thing. And then 10K of that got scammed.
Oh my God.
Yeah. And 1 week later, I went and I signed up for a second sales program and I put 5K on a credit card.
Oh, I know. I think I know who that is. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. What were you doing before High Ticket? Like before you got into it, before you got into like the whole online space, like what were you doing?
I mean, this is when I was doing social media marketing for 2 years, but then I was also working as like a waitress. So I was working all hours of the day. Like I was literally working 20 hours a day and like I would be writing content strategies on like my notepad at like work. And, you know, there'd be quiet days. And so I would come in and I would like, I would be ironing the tablecloths and stuff. And this is when I would have Alex Hormozy in front of me. I was so obsessed with like Alex Hormozy and David Goggins. I'm like, this is the lonely chapter. No one understands. Like, this is the story I'm going to one day tell. And even back then, like, I very much had that like mindset of like, it's all going to, I always had this feeling like I'm going to figure it out for whatever reason, even though like externally, like my reality was not reflecting that. I had this really strong belief that it's like, I'm going to really figure this out at a high level.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it's super important just having that belief, knowing that things are going to work out. Like even for me, right before I got into like the whole online space, I was just a 9-to-5 server. I was a full-time server. And then after my shifts, I would do DoorDash just to you know, provide for me and my family, right? So, and I remember like during that phase of my life, like every time like it was like my free time, I would just like watch all these videos, like motivational videos, like David Goggins, Alex Hormozy.
Who's going to carry the boats?
Ed Milet. Like I'd watch all these
I love Ed Milet.
And even the mindset mentor, like that's how I got into like the whole like personal development space. And so that's why I feel like High Ticket Sales really like resonates with me because of my personal development. Yeah. Right? Because who you are in your sales calls. Oh no. Everything. Oh my gosh, how do you say it? Who you are outside of your sales calls is everything. Yeah. Right. So
it's been so interesting because it's been so full circle. It's like, you know, the people that I've looked up to, the books I've read, like for me, like I was always a huge fan of Tim Grover, reading Relentless, you know, From Good to Great to Unstoppable for years along my, you know, entrepreneurship journey. And then meeting him and like being able to go to a VIP party where it's like, you know, I spent $15K to be in that room.
Oh my gosh.
And to meet him, to shake his hand and to have a conversation with this, like, and to how quickly to be like, wow, like 2 years ago, I was in a position where it's like, there's, you know, I couldn't even pay like 5K, like PIF. Like I was like breaking shit up. Like I was like paycheck to paycheck, things were so tight. And then to be in a position where it's like, you know, I can reinvest 10K a month into personal development is like, it's crazy, but it's something that I've continued to do. And I'm curious because a lot of people in the space, you know, closers as well, right? Is it's like they hit their first 10K a month and they go, you know, I'm good. And they stop. But you didn't, and you kept going, you kept investing in yourself. Why was that?
Yeah, because how to say this? Before I got into High Ticket, I was an amateur mixed martial artist. And so, you know, when I did boxing and jiu-jitsu and Muay Thai and everything, I always had like the mindset of like there's always levels to everything, right? So like every time I sparred against other people, I'd spar against people who were beginners, right? I would also spar against people who were like intermediate and advanced. Like I got my ass beat by pro fighters, right? But it was good. Yeah. And so I think that mentality of like knowing that there's always like levels into everything that you do, that same mindset transfer over to High Ticket Sales, right? Like, okay, I'm at 10K a month in commissions, but it's like, is that where I want to be? No, right? And it's like, I knew that if I wanted to like make more, I would have to invest into like better mentors, right? And so I think that same discipline and principles from mixed martial arts transfer over to High Ticket Sales, right? But
yeah, I think I always had that mindset when it came to investing was it's just like, and the thing that I've never understood when reps give like objections is I'm just like, guys, like once you learn this skill, like you have it for life. Like why not be as aggressive as possible to learn it? It's like, can you learn it over the course of like 10 years? Yeah, but like, do you really want it to take that long? And it's like, I would look at the reps in the space and I'm like, is it possible to get this good this quickly? Yes. Well, then it just becomes a question of proximity. Like, who do I need to be around? What rooms do I need to be in?
Who do you need to be mentored by? That's
yes, exactly. It's like, you need people that expand your way of thinking. Because even when I came to high ticket, like, I was like, oh my God, if I make 10K a month, like, I'm gonna be rich. I'm gonna be able to go like private and like life would be crazy. And then I was like, the first time I hit 10K, I was working with sales coaches that were doing, 40 to 50K in comms. And I'm just like, well, this doesn't feel that crazy anymore. Like, I'm just like, it was such a gap as to what was possible just by expanding the rooms that I was in.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's like even when I hit my first 10K a month, I was like, it's not even that special, but it's like before getting to it, like that was like my dream. Like I idolized it.
It's crazy how normal things become. Like did you have a specific moment? Maybe it was like your first deal, or what was that moment that really clicked that you're like, oh wow, like you really saw the possibilities of it?
Yeah, I think it was when I hopped off that offer where I was closing like $500 to $3K outbound, and I hopped on a different offer. It was like a trading offer as a crypto, and I closed my first 7.5K PIF, and I was like, whoa. Like, that felt good because like that's like $750 in commissions in 1 hour, right? So I think that moment was like, holy crap, like what have I been doing? Like why didn't I like make the move sooner? So I think that's what really clicked for me. Yeah. What about you?
To me, it was my first 10K paid in full. My first 10, all the deals below that, like it didn't really hit me, but like when I was like, wow, I've just made $1,000 in an hour, I was like, I used to make this in a month.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I used to work 88 hours to make this, and I just made this in an hour. That was like the moment I was just like, I'm gonna be rich. No, I'm just kidding. But it was a moment that I really was like, holy, like this is like the possibilities. And I think there's a lot of reps that give up like right before they reap the rewards of it.
Exactly.
Why do you think that is?
Oh, I'm so glad that you brought that up. Is because I think there's a lot of people who get in a high ticket for like the wrong reasons, right? And you can't blame them because all these, gurus who are like saying, oh, you can go on the beach, close yours on your laptop, just work 2 or 4 hours a day. You can still work a full-time job. That's where like once these people are just getting like the wrong idea of high ticket sales. And so when they get into it, right, and they realize that they need to develop the skills, I think a lot of people just come into this with the wrong mindset, thinking that was going to be easy. And so that's why the fucking drop-off rate is so high in high ticket sales, right?
Yeah.
2.5 years ago, like, same people I joined the mentorships with over the past 2.5 years. It's like, I don't see their faces.
Yeah.
I just don't see them. Like maybe like only a full, like handful of them, like a couple, but like everyone else, I've never seen their faces again. And
I also think people put time frames on their goals. Is they're like, okay, like it's the way people go in approaches. They are half in, half out. They have their safety and they're like, let me try this for 3 months. And then 3 months, and they're like, well, I tried. And it was when I came into high ticket sales, I'm like, I'm making this work. There is no options. We are burning the boat, because if I don't figure out sales, like I genuinely was at the point where I was like, I don't know what I'm going to do with my life. Like I don't want to go to college, but like I need a way to make money. I was getting pressure from like family. I was getting pressure from friends. And I was like, it is all or nothing. And that's why when I came in, like I worked like a psychopath. Like I used to track my time in 15-minute intervals and then write down what I was doing to make sure it was an ROI producing activity.
yeah, that's good.
Yeah, it was pretty psycho, but it worked.
Yeah. For me, when I got on a high ticket, my back was already against the wall, right? Because I had maxed out my credit cards to invest in these mentors. My family didn't know that I dropped out of college.
Oh, really?
Yeah, especially coming from a family of Asians. Like, they're very, very strict on that. And so, as I constantly lied to my parents and say, yeah, I'm taking online classes, don't worry about it. And so, like at the time, like my family, they needed help financially. And so, like, I literally had my back against the wall. And I think that's one of the main reasons why I went all in. I was so committed towards becoming the best coach I can be. And even to today, how to say this? I think the reason why a lot of high ticket closers fail and they drop out is because they just don't have like discipline, right? Like they'll go through like 2 or 3 months of like things not working out and they just give up, right? And I think for me, because of my background in mixed martial arts, I had that discipline of just being patient and being resilient. And so that same mentality transferred over to high ticket. So when I got into it, it's like it was easy. It was light work. All I had to do was like put in the role plays, put in the work, show up and that's it.
But I think sport teaches you that. I think sport teaches you delayed gratification, and it was a lesson that I learned in sport at a very young age. I got a horse when I was about 13, and this horse and I, like, we did not get along whatsoever. Like, I was crying like every day, and I was like, how do I send this thing back? Like, I don't want it. And all my friends were on very, very expensive horses, and everything was going right. And for 2 years, it was like banging my head against the wall. And after that 2-year mark, it was like a click. And we literally went from the bottom of the sport to the top of the sport right after within a 3-year time period. And so I learned that I was like, that lesson really stayed with me. And so when I came into high ticket, I'm like, okay, well, if I just continue to do the right inputs and I continue to knock on doors and just aim to just get a little bit better every single day, it really does become a matter of when you achieve your goals, not an if. And everyone wants the time frame of like, you know, will it take 6 months? Will it take 6 years? Like, I don't know and I can't tell you, but I can tell you that if you just keep doing the actions, you will change your life.
Exactly.
And it could happen much faster than you actually expected to.
Exactly. There's a saying that says focus on the inputs, not the results. Like, focus on the process and the actions, not the results. And that quote really resonates with me because it's like, as long as you give it your all every single day and you become 1% better, you're going to eventually succeed. Like, it's just not, how to say this, it's always going to come to you. You know what I mean? As long as you put in the work. And that's where like a lot of people, even closers, like they just have like the wrong idea of like, they're so focused on like the results. Like they're so focused on, oh, when am I going to get my first golden offer? When I'm going to hit my first 10K, 20K. It's like, you're thinking the wrong way. Like you should be thinking like, what can I do every single day to become the best of the best? So that way my skills can allow me to make the commissions I want to make. Right?
Let me ask you this, because I'm sure you see this in your DMs as well. There's so many reps that just believe like, well, I have the skill set, and if I was just on the right offer, I'd be making the money.
Yeah, for me personally, I believe that as long as you have the skills, then offers will come to you.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
Like that's why I just genuinely believe.
Great closers never go hungry.
Exactly. Like there's always going to be a demand for good high-ticket closers. You obviously need to market yourself. Like you obviously need to put yourself out there, but it's like if you don't have the skills, like the offers will come to you, right? And even when you apply and you role play the sales manager, they'll see if you're good or not, right? So if you think you're good, you're not going to offer, you're probably not good, right? It's just your skills.
And that's a hard reality for a lot of people, for a lot of closers to face, right? Is that if you were as good as you thought you were, you'd be on the offers you wanted, making the money that you think you deserve to make. But it's like, you don't deserve anything. You don't deserve to be on a good offer. It's like you earn it. You earn it through like going through these like offers and actually building your reputation, building your stripes. Because the truth is that 90% of these reps that think like, oh, if I was just on a good offer, I'd be making the money. Well, if I were to say, okay, great, here's a 10K or 20K package on 7-figure business owners, go close it, they wouldn't be able to do it.
Yeah.
And so they think it's a skill problem, they think it's an offer problem, but in reality, everything always comes back to it's like our fault for the situation that we're in.
Yeah. There's a saying that says, life doesn't give you what you deserve. It gives you what you tolerate.
Ooh, that was very good.
Yeah.
I like that one. Where's that from?
I think I got that from Kyle. Kyle,
that's really good.
Yeah, shout out to Kyle,
really
by
good.
the way. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, and so you've been closing for a while, and you've also been coaching.
Yeah.
How long have you been coaching for?
Ooh, good question. I've been coaching for less than a year. I have to look back, but I say like about a year now. It's been about a year.
What got you into the coaching space?
I was always passionate about high ticket sales.
Yeah.
Like even when I got in a high ticket, I remember like creating like this this vision board.
Yeah.
And in that vision board, I'd say like I'm gonna become a high ticket closer. And I'm also gonna become a mentor. And so I wrote that like 2.5 years ago. And so like when I got to the point where I hit my first 40K a month of commissions, I was like, you know what, I got it. Like I'm good at what I do. It's time for me to actually build my own business, because for me, I was just so sick and tired of like working for other people.
Yeah.
Like I was so sick and tired of just building other people's businesses. But it's like, you know what, like I have the skills, I have a good personal brand. It's like, why not just like build my own business, right? And so I think that's when I just made the execution to do that. And yeah, what about you?
So I probably started coaching about a year ago now. And it's interesting. I didn't charge for it in the beginning. I've always loved coaching. Like no matter what I've done, like I did personal training and I did equestrian coaching as well. So I've always really enjoyed being like, great, I learned this, being able to teach it and seeing students click and see a result always has brought me a lot of fulfillment. And so because, I got scammed and I was like, there's so much that was going wrong in my own high ticket sales journey. I was like, let me just try and make the journey, even if I can make it even 1% better for someone, like I would feel amazing. So I started doing weekly group coaching sessions. Originally it started as a role play. It started as a role play, kind of as like a screw you to everyone in the high ticket sales industry, because I'm like, I'm here training at 7 a.m. on a Sunday. Like, what are you doing? I want it more than you do. Yeah. And then people started asking me questions and I started leading them more and more. So I started running that for about 6 months, and I didn't even advertise coaching because in my head I had this like limiting belief that I was like, oh, like I'm too young, I can't do this. And then people started reaching out and they're like, do you do one-to-ones? And I was like, yeah, sure. I did a one-to-one, and she's like, okay, great. My close rate, within 2 months, her close rate had jumped from 40% to 75%. And then another closer on this same exact offer, same thing, 20% to 60%. I was like, oh, I'm kind of good at this. And it just like, more and more people started reaching out. And then it was officially in March this year that I officially opened up my first like group coaching program.
I think for me, like one of the main reasons why I started sales coaching is because, especially like as like a man of Christ, I just feel like it's my responsibility to like serve and help everyone that I can. Because I know there's so many people who are getting scammed out there by these fake sales coaches who have no proven track record. Right? They've never closed a deal, and they're just selling how to say this, a false idea of like how high ticket sales is. And like for me, I just want to be genuine and real. Like I want, like for every student that I work with, like I want to be real with them. I want to help them and help them, obtain the skills that got me to 20K, 40K monthly commissions. Just because I know that there's a lot of mentors out there who don't care about their students, right? They don't have the qualifications to actually coach. And it's like, they just don't care.
What does that mean though? The qualifications to coach? Well, how do you define that? To me, whenever I think about a good coach I want to be very clear that I don't necessarily think a good closer makes you a good coach.
Yeah, I agree.
Because just because you can do something well does not mean that you are able to explain it well. There is an art to coaching.
Yeah.
But first you need to have been able to have gotten the result yourself.
Yeah.
Right?
Absolutely.
It's like those people where it's like teaching people how to go viral and they've got like 5 views on their video. It's like, well, you don't even know how to do this, right? So number 1 is, have they gotten the result themselves?
Yeah.
Number 2 is, have they been able to get the results for others? And number 3 is, do your standards align? Because there's so many different coaches out there that can get you to the outcome. So if you take 2 fitness coaches, for example, both of them help you lose weight. But one of them will say you need to be disciplined, you need to wake up at 5 a.m., do your cold bath, and do all your meal prep. And then you have fitness coach B who says, you can lose weight, but like it's about balance, and you should go have fun, and like you should go do these things.
Yeah.
And so when I think about a coach, it's like they also need to have your standards aligned. So for me, like a lot of the girls I work with, like they're very hardworking, they're very disciplined, like they're very all in, ambitious types of girls, because that is the type of person I am. Not that there's anything wrong with girls that, if you want to smell the roses and, take your time to figure it out, that's great. And I love that for you. But, I'm a little bit of a psycho. So I'm really all in on any goal that I set.
Yeah, that's good. I agree the same thing. You definitely have to have like done it yourself. Mm-hmm. And then you need to have the ability to do it for other people as well, right? There's a difference between a good closer and a good coach. But I think in order for you to become a good coach, you need to be a good closer, right? Otherwise, you can't transfer those skills. I also do believe that it's the ability to lead yourself first as well.
Oh my God, 100%.
Like same thing with high ticket sales. How do you expect to lead your prospects outside their comfort zone if you can't even do the same thing 100%. Yourself?
It's like reps at 1. It's like, how are you asking a prospect to pay tens of thousands of dollars when the most you've invested is a $97 like Discord community? Come on.
Exactly. And then same thing with coaching, right? Like in order for you to lead your students towards, taking massive action outside their comfort zone, and getting them to 10K, 20K, 30K monthly commissions is like, you have to be able to lead yourself first. And that's why every single day, I'm always working myself internally. Like, that's why I wake up early in the morning, I meditate, pray, journal, work out. I do everything in my power to become the best version of myself. So that way I can lead not only my prospects, but my students as well. Right? Because these people are depending on me to become the best version of me, right?
Yeah. Okay, I'm really curious to hear your thoughts, right? Because obviously we're both in the space, and you see a lot of these, how do I say this? AI role plays, right? What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah. I just don't, man, I just think it's so flawed because, how I say this, um, AI role plays, I just don't think it's gonna work, right? Like you're talking to a robot who has no feelings. And I remember because I'm not gonna say whose it was or like what it's called. He's a cool guy though, but yeah, there's this one software where you can like role play the AI. And it was just so horrible. It was so bad. It was just so unrealistic. I remember I was trying to objection handle and it was just like, it wasn't like falling into my frame. Like, bro, what are you doing? Like,
well, the other thing that I see, like, from these role plays, especially the fake ones, is...
Oh, that's what you meant.
Yeah.
My bad. I thought you were talking about the software.
No.
Are you talking about, like, the fake sales coaches to the fake Zoom meetings? Oh, my God.
All I'm saying, right, is you get these closers. You get these closers, right, that it's like, they watch this, like, role play online, and the prospect gives an answer that prospects wouldn't give in real life. They're like, yeah. Like, Like, and it's just, like... The reframes that they use, it's like, this isn't going to land. And then you get a closer that then goes, they write out the reframe and then they go take it to their next sales call. They don't understand the concept behind it. They don't understand why they're saying it in the first place. And then if the prospect says something that they didn't say on Instagram, they're then left like, this wasn't on the script. What do I say now?
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Like, yeah, there's like these sales coaches who, are faking these role plays. So like they hop on Zoom.
Oh man.
Right. And then the prospect will like put on like this blurred effect and they'll put on like this distorted voice effect.
Yeah.
Right. And so they record it. And then yeah, these are like fake role plays. And like for me, I don't respect it. Right. Because it's like how it says you're like faking your skills. Right. You're deceiving your audience, making it look like these are real calls, but they're not.
Yeah.
And like you're just telling the prospect to say this and that. And like it makes you look good. Right. And how this is, it's just, I don't think it's ethical in my opinion. I get it, like it's for content. You want to bring in clients. I get the business model, but it's like for me, I like being real and I like to show like my audience, like my real life clothes. Like you can tell because I don't distort the voice. I distort the faces because obviously I can't show their face, right? But I don't distort the voice because like I want to let people know, hey, this is a real sales call. Like this is how you actually close.
Yeah.
Right.
You know the other thing that's unethical is the sales coaches that claim their commissions, but they're actually just from the coaches or they're just from their students that they've closed. So like, oh, you know, like I made like, you know, like $15,000 in like commissions, and it's like, no, you actually just sold 3 students in, and it's like your highest commission month being your being from your coaching program is like. It's a little bit iffy there.
There's a lot of them out there. There's a lot of them out there, unfortunately, and it's just very misleading, right? It's like. I know it's because there's one guy, I'm not gonna say his name, I'm not the type of guy, but this guy said, I made 100K in commissions, or I just made $1 million last month. I was like, man, you only hit like 10K in commissions a couple times, but it's like.
It's so interesting because I've been, you know, obviously in the sales space, a lot of us like know each other, and it's like, huh, that's interesting because that's not what the cash collected on the leaderboard says.
Oh my gosh. I know,
The sheer audacity of like some people is actually pretty crazy, but it's interesting, you know, because even getting into the sales coaching space, like I had a lot of hesitations myself. I really was hesitant to actually launch a live group coaching program, and I did a one-to-one with Laura. With Laura right before this, and I told her, I was like, these are like my fears, is like not even fears, that it's like, can I help you? Like I've 112% conviction in my ability to get results. What my fears was around the peers in the industry, what people were going to say, the hate, and it drove like a level of insecurity and imposter syndrome, because all these, especially it came from these kind of older guys in the industry that, you know, they're like, oh, you know, like these young kids in sales have like no right, blah, blah. And I really started to get in my head. And it was something Laura said, and she was like, you are doing a disservice to the people that you know you can help by you being in your own head.
Yeah, absolutely. I experienced the same thing where the moment that I became a sales coach, I dealt with so much hate. Even like my previous mentors were hating on me, right? Even like people I used to work with on other offers, they would hate on me too. And, you know, I remember like for a long time, I dealt with like a lot of imposter syndrome, and I dealt with like a lot of like fear. I'm like, man, like why do I feel this way? And it's crazy because like even then, like I already hit 40K a month commissions. I've hit 20K months back to back, and I still felt this way. And, you know, I think that hate really got to my head to a point where I was like, you know what? I'm going to get back into the game. I'm going to prove all these people wrong.
Yeah.
That's exactly what I did. That's why 15 days into the month, I'm at 23K in commissions, right? And so I think when I came back into the game, I got back into it for the wrong reason. I was doing it for the sake of like proving all these haters wrong. But now, like, you know, I've been killing it, I've been performing. It's like, you know what? Like, I got back into this for myself. I got back into this to prove myself that I am capable of actually achieving results. And now it's been really good.
Yeah. And I saw you close, what was it? You closed the call live in front of your students?
Yeah, I closed the call live.
That's pretty sick. Okay, let me ask you this. Was there any like nervousness, fear you're on that call?
Not at all. Not at all. I was just so confident in myself. It's like, you know what? Like, I'm going to help this person. Even if I didn't close it, it was like, you know what? I was like, Lord, please allow me to serve this prospect to my fullest capabilities, regardless of the outcome.
Yeah.
I just came from that place, and I ended up closing him. So it was really cool.
That was like the biggest shift for me, because being in sports, like, you're just taught to look at the leaderboard like all day long. And so it's very easy to tie your identity, your self-worth to that and to numbers. And at the end of the day, it's like, as a closer, you can't turn water into wine, right? With the DQs and things, there are things to a degree that are out of your control. And so I would just beat myself up like over any call I didn't close. Like in September, I had a 90% closing rate for the month. Yeah. And all I would think about was, I'm like, well, I didn't close that call. And this was like my mindset. It was like a very like dangerous like place I was in, because all I was doing was, it was like, if I had 5 calls and I closed 4, but I lost 1, is I would just be looking at that. And this is when one of my mentors, you know, she said to me, and she was like, you know, you need to change your definition of a win, of how you're looking at these sales calls. And so when you're on a call, if you are fully present and you listen to that person and you challenge them and you hold them accountable to a higher version of themselves that they want to be, and you've done everything in your power, then it's like, hold your head high, that it's like, there's nothing else that you could have done in that moment. Because it's like, you're always doing the best in the moment that you know. And beating yourself up doesn't make like the process like any easier.
Yeah. I think that's like a muscle you have to train, right? Like whenever things are not going your way and things are just not working out, like you just have to have like so much trust and faith into yourself or God, right? Knowing that things are going to work out. And so I think that mindset plays a huge role in high ticket sales.
100%, because especially in high ticket sales, just the industry that we're in, is it's like every single day you're dealing with uncertainty. Yeah. Every single day, like there is no guaranteed paycheck at the end of the month. Like you have to go out there and you have to perform, and there is pressure in that. And it's very easy that when things start going wrong, to start spiraling and to stay in those states. And I guess for you, like when you have been in the moments, what do you think has really brought you through that?
I think just like being so connected to my why, right? Like, who am I doing this for? Why I'm doing this for? Especially for my parents, like they need me to retire them, right? And especially for what they've done for me, all the sacrifices that they made for me, still like providing for me and raising me become a good man with good ethics and morals. I just feel like it's my responsibility to pay them back for what they've done for me, right? Because they're immigrants from Vietnam. Like they didn't have an easy life when they migrated over here, right? So they had to go through a lot of struggles. So it's like every time that, you know, I might think about giving up or I feel uncertainty, I remind myself why I'm doing this for, right? But most importantly, you know, since the success I've accomplished over the past 2.5 years, I kind of look back and like, you know what, like I've accomplished a lot compared to most people. Like I'm gonna keep on going, you know what I mean?
How does that feel? Like it's like when you genuinely like look back like 2 years ago and like you think about that version of yourself and you think of like where you were, like how does it genuinely feel?
Yeah, that's a good probing question. Yeah, it's, man, I've definitely gotten used to it. Like the feeling, it's kind of like numb at this point. But like I'm so grateful for like everything that I've went through. I'm so grateful for everything I've accomplished as well. But it's like if I were to go back to like the version of me 2.5 years ago when he first got on high ticket, he looked at me right now. Oh my gosh, he'd be like in shock right now. Like he wouldn't have expected to hit 40K. I'm on the commissions. Wouldn't have expected to move into like a high rise apartment.
Yeah.
He wouldn't have expected all these things. But deep down, like he already knew it was gonna happen. But I'm pretty sure he'd be shocked if he was like right next to me.
Yeah, if I were to sit my version like 1.0 Emma down there, and it was like, if anything, I'd give her a hug. Like the amount of shit that girl went through, I'd give her a hug and I'd be like, don't worry, I promise. It's like Romans 8:18. It's like the pains of what you're going through is nothing compared to the joys that are coming. And it definitely is a certain amount, like you do get used to it, right? You get used to the traveling, but there's definitely moments where it's like you catch yourself and you're like, wow, like this is crazy. Like even when I went to Salt Lake City, I went to a conference. And I had a huge problem with my plane ticket. I had to rebook, and it was like $3,000 on the spot. And I was like, okay. And in that moment, I was like, wow, like there would be a time in my life that like I wouldn't have just been like, okay, whatever, like $3,000, here we go. Like I've already spent all this money on this conference and to get there. But there's definitely certain things that it's like it's so surreal sometimes. Like it literally is like you look around, even being here today, being on like a podcast, being able to like speak about this, and I still think about that girl that came into sales, and people see me for who I am now, and they think I've always been this way.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh my God, like, you're so confident. You've got so much conviction. And I'm like, guys, trust me. Like, it was not like that, like, when I first started.
Yeah, that's good. A lot of people, like, they look at the version of me now, and, like, they're like, holy shit, like, you're so good. You're so talented. You have, like, a natural way of speaking. I want to close like you. But 2.5 years ago, I was stuttering my words. Like, I didn't know how to speak properly. I had no confidence. It was hard for me to like hop on the call. And I remember there were times before the pitch, like my heart was just fucking race before dropping the price because I was so scared and nervous. Right? And so I think that's like the whole point of like adversity and just going through
100%.
trial and error. It's like you have to go through that for you to become the best version of you. Right? Like, I look back at my journey within the past 2.5 years. I'm so grateful that I went through the adversity. I'm so grateful that I had these people hating on me. I'm so grateful that, there were deals that didn't go my way because I had to learn from them and grow.
100%. And it's also, but it's easy to say that when you get to the other side and look back and be like, thank you for all the challenges and all the tough prospects. But in the moment, you're like, damn, like this is tough. And I remember even some of my first sales calls, right? And I was getting, I need to think about it. And I actually have this recording, which is quite funny because I'm like, hey, no worries. I totally get it. I'm someone I like to think about it and like research before I make decisions as well. Yeah. And, in the moment, you're like, oh, I just want these deals to close. And, I hope they don't get any objections. But it's actually the objections, and it's the tough prospects, and it's the prospects that come on and don't watch the resources and are cold and are sharp and are A-type and are egotistical and make you feel small. Those are the prospects that teach you the most. Yeah. And those are the prospects that you should be the most thankful for. Yeah. Because the truth is that anyone can close a laydown. Anyone can close a lead that's been on a webinar for 2.5 hours and been following organically for the last 2 years. Yeah. But where you really make your money as a closer is when you learn that gap, when you learn how to sell to those more closed off, more difficult prospects. And even for me, I used to be terrified of them. Like A-types used to scare me so much. I used to hold a rock in my hand. I literally used to hold a rock in my hand with the mantra from Patty, who told me to be a stone when I was speaking to them. Yeah.
I love A-types because they have to come on a call, like being so egotistical and just being like dickhead. It shows insecurity, right? So that's why I remind myself every time I speak to an A-type, like I generally feel bad for them. It doesn't faze me because like, okay, I know you're miserable because you have to go out of your way to hop on a Zoom meeting and be a dickhead. And most likely it means you have insecurity.
Yeah. And A-types slip up. This is the thing is you just have to let them talk. And also is like the bigger someone's ego, the harder they fall. Yeah. And you just have to wait and be patient. And it's like too oftentimes like with reps, they start speaking to an A-type and they go, this person's have any pain, they're not going to buy, and they shut off and they're losing the call because mentally like their head's out of the game. Yeah. They're letting the prospect take frame. And the truth is a lot of this is like posturing and framing, right? Like even when I look at sales calls from some reps, they're like, oh, like, you're making $1 million a year. Like that's really great. And it's like, you're buying into that. Yeah. Whereas like, when I was selling for the Hormozy portfolio offer, it was like, oh, you're doing 7 figures. Okay, cool. Like, why are we not doing 10? How long you been at a mill for? That's cool. I mean, we work with businesses doing, 50 million plus. So. Yeah. And it's being unimpressed with like, it's the same thing when they're like, oh, like I make 400K. Oh, a month? Oh, a year. Okay. Got it. Gotcha.
Yeah. I love A-types because like, I would say like there's different types of A-types, right? But for the ones who are like very egotistical, like I love playing with them as in like, I love toying with them. Like, yo, like where'd that come from? Right.
Yeah. When they blow up, because so oftentimes, like when they blow up, reps are like, "Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to offend you or ask you." Yeah. But instead, it's just like, like what's behind that? Like, where's that come from? You're really just holding your frame, and just like a huge lesson that I had to learn was it's just like however a prospect reacts, like good, bad, ugly, whatever, they leave the call, like that has everything to do with them. And oftentimes we think that the questions, they feel the pressure internally, but that's coming from them and what they know that they need to do. Like, is nothing to do with me. And that took me a long time, but it's just like, that's cool.
You just gotta disarm them. But for the most part, I don't really get a lot of E-types, so that's good.
What type of offers have you sold on in the last year or so?
Ooh, good question. I'll tell the offers I've sold for like the past 2.5 years. So like my first ever offer was a SMMA biz op. Yeah, $500 ticket with like 3K upsell. I remember for that offer, like I wasn't supposed to like sell the 3K tickets on outbound, but I still did anyway. And the manager would get fucking mad at me. But I was like, yeah, I'm closing these deals. Like, let me do my thing, right? That's my first ever offer. My second offer was the crypto trading offer. That's where I hit my first like 20K. That was like a blessing. And then my third ever offer was like the AI offer. That was for the Richard deal.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then my fourth offer, which one was it? Oh, it was for like a SBA offer.
Yeah.
And then the one I'm currently on is right now was the Forex trading offer.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's just a launch. We stopped taking calls on August. I'm the number one on the leaderboard, by the way. So
low flex.
Out of like 10 reps, yeah, I'm like gapping them. So yeah.
How does it feel?
I feel, how to say this? I am used to it, right? Because every offer I've been, for the most part, for nearly every offer I've sold for, I've always been a top closer. Like I know because I'm just so confident in my skill sets.
Yeah.
And like all the other closers, I look at the sales calls, I'm like, yeah, you're shit.
Oh my God.
Not in an egotistical way, but it's like there's so much. How I say it's like the most humble way possible. It's like, yeah, my skills compared to like their skills, like I there's nothing to worry about. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's very interesting you say that because like again, I very much when I look at goals, like I kind of put blinders on and I don't look at anyone that's like around me at the same level or like anyone that's just not there yet. I'm always looking where I want to go, and I was always looking at who's the best in the space. That's always like, and so to me, I was always like, oh, well, I'm okay, but it was always compared to who. And that was like when it's like, okay, well, actually, if I look around at like 99% of their reps, like that's when I'd be auditing calls. I'm like, oh my God, that's so obvious. Like, you missed this. What do you mean? Yeah. This person said like, if I can get to 10K like 12 times, like, what do you mean? Yeah. And then it's like, it's so interesting because, I was taught how to objection handle kind of very early on in my career. And so it was kind of like a dogfight at the end.
Yeah.
And it was like, oh my God, it was exhausting. Like just like constantly at the end, just overcoming objections. But it was really when I like learned in my discovery, like how to actually listen to this language, how to reframe people, how to build the gaps, how to build the identities, how to actually like really dive into someone's why and their values, that my calls were so much more enjoyable. And I stopped dreading my sales calls and like praying for no-shows because every no-show or every call felt like a dogfight at that point.
Let's talk about that. Let's talk more about sales.
Ooh,
right? What's your framework? I'm curious.
My framework, to be honest, is like I keep it like so stupid simple. To be honest, like no matter like what offer I'm on, like I always think it's like, okay, cool. There's 2 points. There's where they are today, where they want to be, and why they're not there. And this is kind of where we play a little bit of detective. It's like, why is this, like if they were able to figure it out, they would already be at point B.
Yeah.
So what's holding them back? What action, what mindset, what belief system do they currently have that's not serving them to the highest level possible? And then when I do my cost of inaction, this is really when it's like, well, if you continue to move with that belief, with that mindset, what are we going to get? We're going to get the same thing, right? So it's what do we need to let go of? What do we need to step into? And really just doubling down on that, on my commitments. And I really do probe like in my discovery because it's like, you only do need like 1 or 2 pieces, like, and really to go deep. Like you don't need 1,000,001 symptoms, 1,000,001. It's usually always comes back to like 1 or 2 really key things, and then just expanding the gap between the person that they are today and the person that they need to become in order to actually achieve those goals.
Yeah. For me personally, I'm very big on identity selling. Right?
Yeah.
So like I'll look at the version of themselves right now, like what are their behaviors, how they think, like what's their perspective on things, and the version of themselves right now, is it serving them into becoming the person that they want to become, right? If it's not, that's when I know I need to like challenge them and find internal limitation, whether it's fear or limiting belief, right? And so like my whole idea of high ticket sales is, okay, how can I transform this person into like stepping into becoming the best version of themselves? the version of them who is successful, the version of them who's courageous and fearless, right? Because once you do that, that's when they buy into you, right? And once they buy into you, guess what? They buy into your product. And so I think that's what high ticket sales should be about. Even it's like B2B or business owners, right? You can still identity sell everyone.
Absolutely. And it's even like, this is where a lot of reps kind of go wrong in their calls, is that when prospects are uncertain, is they try to sell them to get more certainty.
Yeah.
But
and
the problem isn't the uncertainty. The problem is their relationship with it. Because it's literally the way our brains are wired, right? Where it's like, you know, when we feel danger, our brains go pump the brakes, stop. And so when we're stepping into something new for the first time, it goes, whoa, 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 like more time, more distance. Let's get some reassurance. Let's get some validation.
Yeah.
But in reality, it's realizing that it's like whether they do this today, tomorrow, or in 2 years' time, that they're going to have to overcome that uncertainty that they're feeling.
Yeah.
Right? And that it's like everything that you actually want is on the other side of it. You just need to be brave enough, because you're never going to be more certain. You're never going to be 100%. You can read every single blog post, testimonial, case study. You can speak to everyone, but it's like you're never going to know until you actually do it.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's the biggest thing on like why most high ticket closers will never hit like 10K or 20K is because they're looking at high ticket sales like the wrong way, right? They're like trying to sell the product, right? And they're trying to like build this gap of like.
Are you telling me it's not about the features and benefits?
Yeah, like they're so focused on like building a gap between like where they're at right now to where they want to go, but that's not the point. The point is to have the prospects look at things differently and help them obtain new perspectives that's going to help them, right? So, for example, the relationship with fear and uncertainty, it's like we got to change your perspective on like fear. Otherwise, it's a good thing, but it's like you have a choice. You can allow that to overcome you, or you can be the one to overcome it, right?
Well, it's like, well, what does fear like to do? It likes to keep us stuck. And it's this whole mentality of it's like, are you playing to win or are you playing to lose? Because doing nothing, it keeps you safe today, but it's the most expensive thing in the long run. And the truth is that if you are approaching anything in a like, oh, I don't want to make the wrong investment. Oh, I don't want to go in the wrong program. I don't want to do this. Well, it's like, if you want to guarantee that you're never going to do anything wrong, do nothing.
Yeah.
And that, like that frame there is, it's like they're focused on all the things that could go wrong. Does that mindset actually support them and their ability to achieve their goals?
Yeah, exactly. That's why we need to reframe them and help them realize like what's the bigger risk, right? Is it for you to allow your fears to dictate your decisions and therefore you and your family continue to suffer? Or is it for you to step out of that and make decisions based off the perspective of who you want to be, and actually take initiatives that way you can achieve the best life for you and your loved ones? Like, what's the bigger risk?
Yeah. Oh man. Oh, there's some bangers there. Okay. What other mistakes do you see reps make? What about in the intros? I see so many mistakes. People just think that intros are like so basic, and I always am like, let me watch the first like 2 minutes of the call, because I'm like, why are we creating so much sales resistance?
Exactly. Like, so many people are so focused on like what happened at the objection handling. Like, this objection came up. Well, look at the first 2 minutes of the call. This is what happened, right? Yeah, a lot of reps they'll say this. What I want to do on this call today is just ask you a couple questions, see if and how we can help you out, and if not, no worries whatsoever. I'll point you in the right direction. I hate that.
No. I've got one better. Okay. I was on an offer where we had to say this frame minute. Say,
oh no.
Brace yourself. No. Yeah, so really like what we're looking for today on this call is a yes or a no, because we don't do any follow-ups here.
That's horrible. Instant resistance.
No. And then it got even better, because then because however I go into my discovery, I always ask like, what's the biggest challenge when it comes to facing your business, or where are you looking to go? Like, I'm always asking a pointed direction in my discovery. But they didn't want me to just, they wanted me to say, so like, tell me about yourself. Like, are you single? Are you married? Like, talk to me about you. That was how they wanted me to lead into my discovery.
Or where are you based from? Oh, how's the weather over there?
How's this? Oh, did you watch the FIFA game last night? But the thing is, as well, is that it's like there needs to be a certain amount of leadership at each point in the call. So even if it's like, whereabouts are you based? Vancouver. Okay, cool. So really, and then it's like that transition and that leadership, because the reps oftentimes, like, they let the silence just sit there, and then the prospects jump in, and they're like, and where are you from? And then suddenly it's like, it's so awkward that I was like trying to get like into the actual call.
Yeah, there's a lot of amateur reps out there who just don't know how to do the introduction properly. And it's like, you don't understand, but the words that you're saying is causing so much sales resistance, right? So whenever you set the agenda, you sound like every other closer, right? They've been on multiple sales calls. They hear the same exact thing, right? And so it's very important that you differentiate yourself from other closers in the space.
Well, I always say the goal of an intro is like to disarm your prospect, like being able to bring in a bit of humor, like really just like welcoming them to the call and just getting them to like relax. Like you're not going to have a great discovery if they're like their guard is completely up. And guess what? It's like, especially if you're on a more B2B or you're selling to higher level prospects or especially business owners, come on. They've been on a sales call before. Like they've heard the same thing like a million times. And the second that you say the same thing as other sales reps is they associate you with that category and they think that their status is then higher than you, which is a very dangerous place to be on a call when a prospect actually believes that.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
What other mistakes? What about discovery? Where do you see reps go wrong?
Oh
in
my
discovery?
gosh. Everything.
Everything.
Yeah. So a lot of like high ticket closers, like they just like go for like the current situation, like, well, give me a background on where, you know, what's happening. And it's just so vague. Like
give me an elevator pitch of like your current problem.
Yeah, like it's just insane. And it's like there's no direction with that question, right? There's no clarity on like what you're aiming for. And there's so much things that your prospects can give you and you just don't know how to navigate through it, right? So they go for like the situation, like give me a broad picture. You already shot yourself in the foot right there already.
Yeah.
What about you?
One of the mistakes I've been seeing is I've had a few reps where it's like they've watched some of my calls and they've like from like YouTube and stuff and they've gone to implement it and they've asked me a question about it. And so something that I ask is, you know, in that moment, like what was going through your head? Like what emotions were you feeling? Like those types of questions. But there's a moment that you need to ask them, right? And so oftentimes it's like, what's the problem? Like, how is that actually showing up, the impact of that, and then that specific situation, you know, when you're stuck at work and you can't pick your kid up from school, like, what are the thoughts going through your head at that point? Yeah. But if I ask them, okay, you know, you want to leave your 9 to 5, like, what thoughts are going through your head at that point? It doesn't land. So it's like, it's the timing of questions and the way you ask them as well, I think is like, where a lot of reps like make the mistake.
Yeah, and that's why like I stray away from scripts because like they're not helpful in any way whatsoever, right? So like a lot of closers they'll ask, how does that make you feel? But it's like you don't have enough weight into the pain.
Yeah.
Right. So it's like the timing is off. So it's like
or when they keep asking that, like how like that same question, like on the back end of like every question as well, and it's just like, oh my, it's a bit painful.
Yeah.
It's a bit painful to watch, to be honest.
Yeah, it is. It is. There's a lot of inexperienced sales reps out there.
I definitely see that, like the timing of questions, but also the way that people ask a question, right? It's the same thing. It's like when you go to challenge someone, like, especially when I challenge prospects, is I'm always like, it's me and the prospect, and we have the same goal, right? We're trying to get them to point B. We're trying to overcome this obstacle, but it's never me against the prospect. And the second that I go to them and my voice is like, okay, cool. Like, well, why haven't you left your 9 to 5? Like, it's a very defensive, defensive. Instead of it's like, okay, well, I guess Justin, you know, if, you know, you've been wanting to leave your 9 to 5 for the last like 2 years, I guess, like, why do you feel like that hasn't happened yet?
Yeah. And the way you said it
lands way different.
Because you have the curiosity tonality, right? You're coming from a place of like, hey, I'm not going to judge you, right? And so a lot of like reps don't understand that. It's not what you say. It's not the questions you ask, but it's how you say it,
yes.
right? And that's why, like, even for me, like my first ever offer, when I did like outbound closing, like I had to like nail and perfect my tonality.
Yeah. And
I think that's what really allowed me to become so good at like inbound Zoom meetings now, because I worked on tonality so much. So I'm really grateful I want to do that.
Yeah.
Tonality is super important. Super important.
Another one that I see is people buying into like other like the prospect's beliefs, and it's like your belief always has to be stronger than theirs. When the prospect's like, it's a big decision or it's a lot of money, they're like, yeah, you know, I get it's a lot of money, I get it's a big decision. It's just like you've just validated that their way of like thinking there. Or it's like, oh, you know, I don't have the time. They're like, oh, you know, that's fair. I'm a mom too, and I'm like watching these calls like, what? Like,
or how about this? I need to speak to my partner. Same thing for here. Like every time I make big decisions, I also need to speak to my partner. Like, bro, you messed up right there.
Yeah. It's like, I mean, honestly, I mean, it is definitely a bit hard, but that's where it's like, when I think about these prospects that externalize and are blaming things, right? Whether it's like a lack of time, a lack of money. Oh, I didn't have the information. I didn't know where to look. Oh, there's always someone that has been in a worse situation and has figured it out and done it better. Mm. So why haven't they? Why haven't they gotten resourceful? Why haven't they made the time? How much effort, even when people are like, oh, I've never found the right thing. But if you actually ask them, like, well, how much effort have you put into this? Like, it's like they looked one time Sunday at like 10 p.m. on their phone, doom scrolling on Instagram.
Yeah.
Like,
a good question I like to ask is, well, can you confidently put your hand on your chest and confidently say that you've been giving your all every single day? No, boom, got you right there.
Well, I always like to ask, I'm like, well, is that effort, is that a reflection of the goals that you're looking to achieve, or the person you want to become?
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's really good.
Yeah, that one, no, there's definitely some like, so some good frames and like, that like, there's like you need to master the basics before it's like you can go and like, you learn like all the fancy like, you know, pattern interrupts and things like this. And oftentimes like reps, it's like before they've just mastered like the true basics, like the back of their hand, it's like, let me go learn like the new fancy reframe on Instagram or this and that. And it's like, guys, just like focus. Like mastery is boring. It's really boring.
It's boring.
It is so boring, like to run through the same loops again and again and again. But it's how you get really good really quick.
Yeah, I had a talk with my mentor, Kyle So, and he really drew that into my head, where it's like, it's the boring things that you need to do every single day that's going to allow you to get you to the results that you want to see with this. Like, it's not supposed to be fun. Like, it's supposed to be boring as shit. But it's like those daily activities and the things that you do on a consistent basis is going to compound over time.
Yeah.
Right? Whether it's like the outbound dials, the follow-ups, email sequences, text, like everything matters, right? So
100%. And that's why you see reps come into the space and for the first 3 months, they're like gung-ho and they're like, who's ready for role plays and call reviews and this? And suddenly by month 3, it's like, well, once a week they're doing it. And it's just like, it's the consistency of the inputs you do that's going to get you to your goals. And that's really where like people fall short. And it's like, you see this all the time with reps. It's like, you know, when things are going well, they take their foot off the gas pedal, they're cruising, and then they have a cold week and they're back training and they're riding like the high highs and low lows of the industry.
Yeah. I want to ask you a question. What do you feel like is the biggest difference between the top sales reps and like the bottom ones?
Ooh, that's a very good question. I would say it comes back to 2 things. Like I would say definitely like your skill set being a huge piece there. Like there's closing the prospects that these people think that are unclosable, like your A-types, your more sophisticated people, the people that are closed off, is definitely plays a factor. But secondly is like your mindset, how you handle it when things go wrong, when things don't go your way. And your state, I'd say, is like a massive thing. And I'd say when you have those like 2 things dialed in, your mindset and your skill set is when you become lethal.
Yeah. I've noticed that the top sales reps are former athletes.
Yeah. No
Like,
surprise.
I've noticed that.
It's no surprise,
Yeah,
honestly.
I've noticed
I tell
that.
people all the time, like, go like get into sport. Sport will teach you more because it teaches you like mental resilience and it teaches you to play games. And that's why like I think I got it from, was it Jesse? I think it was Jesse Itler. Do you know who Jesse Itler is?
No, I don't.
He's like exited like 5 companies. Like he's like
Oh, wow.
really cool guy, but like also like is super big into the sports world. He's done like ultras. He like spent 30 days with David Goggins
That's
and stuff.
insane.
Yeah. Like
Oh my
he's
gosh.
he's and so he came and did a talk and we talked about and he at this conference and he was talking about like the power of words and like mental resilience in sport because especially if you're running, you're doing endurance and things like that is it's very hard, and it's very hard for an extended period of time. And you have to play these mind games with yourself where you're like, look, I'm just gonna run for another 5 minutes. And then if people ask you how you are, you know, you're never allowed to say like, oh, I feel tired, I feel like I can't do this, because those words are too powerful. So even when you feel like broken, beat up, you want to quit, if you're at like mile like 60 in an ultra, it's like I feel outstanding.
Yeah.
I feel outstanding. And so I think that athlete mentality, if you bring that into sales, like you kick ass.
Yeah, absolutely. I think for me, the reason why I'm the top closer out of 10 reps on this current offer, I've cash collected 230K cash collected within the first 15 days of the month is because I'm just disciplined. Like I'm just more disciplined than everyone else on the team, right? But it's like I said, I developed that discipline from like the MMA, yeah, from mixed martial arts. And so, yeah, I think that's what makes the differences between the top closers and like the bottom ones is that the top ones, like they're just so obsessed with the game.
You have to be, yeah. And it's like, to me, I've never wanted to be mediocre. Anything I put my mind to, like I like to do things at a very, very high level. And so to me, like just being like an okay closer, being okay, it was never good enough. And I knew that I was never going to settle for that.
Yeah. Yeah. What is like the mindset you need to have on your sales calls?
Ooh, very good question. When it comes to your sales calls, like I really do think about this from state. Like, are you familiar with like the map of consciousness?
Yeah, I am.
Yeah. So I learned about this, I don't know, maybe like 8, 9 months ago, and it really, really changed a lot of things for me. And I learned about the difference between being in a high level state versus a low level state, and that prospects don't buy in a low level state. And if you're in a low level state, you shift them there. Right, so low level states of like, fear, apathy, jealousy, all of these states, shame, all of that, right?
Yeah.
Of it's like, oh, I don't want to lose. It's you're moving from scarcity, you're moving from a low level state, and the prospects can feel that. So what that means is that even if you are saying all the right words, you're nailing your tonality and everything, but your state is off, they will go off your nonverbals instead.
Yeah.
And so it's really saying in that high level state. And it's like, of course you want to close a deal. Like everyone wants to close a deal. Everyone wants to make money. Duh.
Yeah.
But you don't need it. Yeah. And it's really the state of acceptance is like, whether this goes the way that I want it to or whether it doesn't, like I'm fine either way.
Yeah.
And that state, when closers really get there, and I can't even tell you how many closers have come to me. Even one of our mentors, they sent me their cousin to do a one-on-one, and I did a one-to-one. They were about to quit their offer, head completely like was freaking out. They did a one-to-one, and the next call she got paid in full.
Wow, that's insane.
Yeah, and it's like I would never take credit that it's like I changed her skill set. Like there's no way in one session I did that. But what I did do is we talked about moving into that state of acceptance.
Yeah.
I've seen this again and again where it's like there's very good closers out there but if you're in your head and you're not in a good place and you're moving from a place of scarcity, you're not going to perform at the level you're capable of.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's how I think on my sales calls too, is like, I really evaluate like where my prospect is at. And it's like, if I know it's that they're at the bottom of the spectrum where they feel fearful, they feel discouraged, not confident, it's like, okay, it's my responsibility to uplift them. Right. And so that's why I got to hold a higher space for them and get them to where they need to go. Right. Just ending off the podcast, what does the future look like for you? What are your plans from here on out?
Oh, that's a very, very good question. Well, I mean, in the past year, I pretty much have been on my world tour. So I've been all over, been to South America, I've been to Europe, been to America, been in Canada. It's been absolutely fantastic. So very much continuing on that trend. I mean, even here, we're filming in Arizona, first time here. Yeah. I'm going to go back to Canada as I prepare for my Ironman in October.
Nice.
So very much disciplined in that sense. It is a level of discipline I've never experienced before. It's definitely pushed me to new extremes when every single day is like a 2 to 4 hour workout. Yeah. And then when it comes to sales, when it comes to business, like really just focusing on being the best leader, the best leader and the best coach I can be for my girls, like really just continuing to invest in myself and help more and more girls create the financial freedom that they want and really become the elite level closer that they know they are capable of being.
Yeah.
What about you?
For me, my plan is to become one of the best sales mentors in the space. Like I want to surpass my mentors, right? I want to become the best I can be in this space. And for me, like at the time of the recording this podcast, like I'm at 4,500 followers, right? And so
baller.
Yeah, my plan is to go all out with my coaching, go all out with coaching my students, making sure that they see the results they want to see and allowing them to see success with this. And I'm just going to blow up my personal brand and I'm going to be up there with the big names. So,
hell yeah. All the way to the top. It's crazy because we literally have been through multiple different programs together.
Oh, yeah.
We've both seen each other hit, first 10K months, first 20K months. And now it's just like a continue trajectory upward.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
Very exciting. I'm very, very glad that we were actually able to hop on the podcast and be able to share some sauce with you guys. Because I know this was helpful, and if you don't think it's helpful, you didn't take any notes.
Yeah, Emma. It was nice hopping on the podcast with you. I know after we're probably gonna do something, and it's gonna go up from here.
Alrighty. Peace out, guys.
Peace out.